The moment Kyrie Irving looked straight into the camera and offered that simple, devastating promise, the entire narrative, built around one of the modern NBA greatest partnerships, instantly began to crumble. This wasn't a slip of the tongue during a casual stream. This was a calculated warning shot from a player who spent years on the inside, witnessing and enduring the brutal mechanics of a system designed for a singular, monumental purpose: the absolute protection and elevation of LeBron James' legacy. A structure so powerful it could erase the championship-winning moments of its own teammates. Kyrie didn't just hint at discord, he promised a full, unfiltered, and deeply political exposé upon his retirement, confirming what many only whispered. Everything you think you know about the Cleveland dynasty, the trade, and the resulting media chaos is, at best, filtered, and at worst, a deliberately constructed lie. He exposed the fact that the tension was never simply about chemistry, but about control, an unavoidable war over who got to write the final chapter of their shared history. The foundation of this conflict was set long before LeBron returned, rooted in Kyrie's earliest, most formative years in Cleveland. The story starts not with James's triumphant return, but with Kyrie's quiet frustration, the fact that the 2011 number 1 pick never wanted to be a Cavalier, longing instead to choose his own destination, to develop alongside established, like-minded veterans. Thrown onto a rebuilding team still reeling from the original departure of a hero, Kyrie was forced into a pattern of hero ball, trying to single-handedly carry a roster that was clearly incapable of winning, unwittingly picking up what he later confessed were bad habits. He was only just starting to shed that burden, finally finding his rhythm as a true floor general and leader, right when the colossal shadow of LeBron returned to Cleveland in 2014. The young star, on the precipice of his true individual breakout, was instantly shoved into a supporting role. His growth trajectory interrupted and redefined overnight, a shift that fundamentally changes how a player sees his role and his worth. This wasn't merely joining a star. It was assimilation into a meticulously crafted ecosystem, a dynamic that demanded full submission to the king's agenda. This new ecosystem was not the messy, emotionally charged operation of LeBron's first stint with the Cavs. This was the disciplined, politically shrewd machine forged in Miami under the uncompromising tutelage of Pat Riley. LeBron didn't just return home with championships. He returned with the knowledge of how to manage a narrative, how to control a locker room, and how to subtly influence the media to ensure his image remained spotless. Kyrie's recent comments about the politics and the spun narratives happening off camera confirm that the lessons learned from Riley were not just professionalized basketball habits, but weaponized tools of strategic control. The price of riding shotgun with LeBron wasn't just higher expectations. It was becoming collateral damage in the ongoing maintenance of his legend. The tension was palpable, because while LeBron needed Kyrie's unique, electrifying skill set to rebuild his own post-Miami legacy, Kyrie's personal journey of development became instantly secondary, a plot point in LeBron's overarching destiny. The most egregious example of this narrative control came in the exact moment of Kyrie's greatest triumph, Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. With the clock winding down and the weight of decades of Cleveland sports futility pressing down, it was Kyrie Irving, a 24-year-old guard, who stepped back and nailed the championship, clinching three-pointer over a generational defender. It was the dagger. The moment that secured the trophy, broke the curse, and guaranteed LeBron's legacy would forever be tied to that city. Yet, what happened in the hours and days that followed remains a source of deep frustration for Kyrie and a testament to the system's ruthlessness. The constant, endless replay was not Irving for three, but blocked by James, a moment of defensive brilliance, amplified to such a degree that Kyrie's own defining offensive achievement was reduced to a background detail. Then came the crowning blow. LeBron's own statement that this moment solidified him as the greatest player of all time, a self-centered declaration that completely overlooked the team, and, most offensively, the teammate who hit the most important shot in franchise history to make it happen. Kyrie, who averaged 27 points in that series, was erased from his own achievement, his legacy twisted into nothing more than a footnote in LeBron's redemption arc. The final straw came the following year after the 2017 finals loss, where Kyrie was arguably the only Cavalier consistently matching the offensive output of the unstoppable Kevin Durant. Despite his heroic performance, the heat for the loss was deflected everywhere but onto the franchise star. Less than a month later, the trade rumors began to swirl, whispers from LeBron's inner circle suggesting that Kyrie was the problem, the issue, the piece that needed to be replaced. This was the ultimate betrayal. After saving the Kings' legacy, Kyrie was deemed expendable, disposable, a political casualty of the system. His trade request was not an act of immaturity or jealousy. It was a desperate, unprecedented act of rebellion. He became the only star to successfully wrench his future away from the control of the LeBron ecosystem. Oh, it's why LeBron's loyalists have never forgiven him. His exit exposed the uncomfortable truth that everyone else, from all stars to coaches, is ultimately replaceable as long as the Kings' shield remains intact. The ensuing smear campaign was not just intense. It was a brutal, coordinated character assassination, weaponizing every aspect of Kyrie's life and career outside of basketball excellence. When he struggled in Boston, it was proof he couldn't lead. When he got injured, it was framed as a character flaw. When he made personal decisions during the pandemic, the rage and vitriol lobbed at him transcended basketball, becoming a full-scale, politically charged attack. And through it all, the King remained silent, his fan base acting as the perfectly deployed attack dog, running the play for him while he maintained plausible deniability. This is the calculated control Kyrie warned about. The hidden politics that manipulate perception. Yet, Gadar. He has since become a champion in Dallas, a stable veteran, and is playing some of the most efficient, peaceful basketball of his career, proving all the narratives about him being a franchise killer were baseless and manufactured. Kyrie's peace, however, is not silence. It is the calm before the storm. When he promised to reveal the real story upon his retirement, he wasn't teasing. He was serving a final, definitive warning. He has lived through the pressure, the spin, and the deliberate erasure of his accomplishments, and he now holds the knowledge that could shake the foundation of the NBA most carefully maintained legacy. He has seen the hidden details, the private conversations, the true motivations behind closed doors that the public has never been allowed to glimpse. Kyrie's viral comments were not a farewell rant, but the first shot in a war over truth that has been years in the making. The question is no longer if he will talk, but whether LeBron's finely polished history, built on the sacrifices and silence of those around him, is ready for the truth to hit. The clock is officially ticking, and when the player who sealed the championship finally speaks his mind, the whole basketball world will be forced to confront the hidden reality of the LeBron James era.